What is going on with you guys and gals, all you Marks and Maggies, all you cheapos out there? You're listening to Cheap Talk Wrestling. You've heard J.R. Lannister's predictions. You've heard Dylan Saravi's predictions. Now you're going to hear my best friend in the entire world, the all Paul Holloway, and my predictions. Finally, this is like our main event here. Let's be real.
Right?
If we're going, it's got to be the main event. Come on, we're the main eventers here.
It's the handsomest guys in all of CTW.
Exactly.
This is the one that I'm fine with taking number 2, and it's okay.
All right, let's be real. Let's just jump right in because the people are waiting. The people want to know what you were predicting. So let's just kick it off with the kickoff match of the entire weekend. We got John Cena versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. I want your thought on the build, and I want your prediction.
Build hasn't been too great, but I think they're going to do enough, with the match itself for it to subside with the build itself. It'll make up for it. So I think overall, in the end, it's going to put over Austin Theory whether he wins or loses.
So you taking Theory?
No, my theory is that Cena's going to win, and Theory will have to kind of make his way back around to Cena.
Really?
I think Cena is leaning into this might be the last time I go into these arenas kind of thing, with his whole thing with Boston when he returned home. So I think they might end the whole thing back in Boston when he goes back to the arena and be like, okay, this is actually the last time I'm going to be here in this arena.
No shit. Wow.
As he does the tour, he's going to be doing the U.S. Open challenges, and his whole thing might be sort of like the Ric Flair thing, where he's on his retirement. But if he loses, he'll never come back to the arena.
Interesting. I like that. I like that prediction. I didn't think of that. But I'm gonna have to go opposite.
It's all right.
I'm gonna go Theory. No, look, listen. I feel like when it comes to John Cena as a character, I think he's great. Being there in the arena that night, covering the event, especially covering Cena's return, I thought it was magical. And the pop, all the Marks and Maggies out there really getting
the
into
emotion. The emotion, yeah.
No, and that was my thing too, is that like catching up with a lot of these fans, it was just excitement. And I think that's what it's all about in this case, is I think Cena's kind of just doing it for, like, obviously, like we said, one last run. But I feel like this last run needs to really put over the next generation.
Well, so
my thing is that next generation.
If they're not going to elevate some of these mid-card guys straight to the main event yet, I think Cena will use that as a beacon, as what he did before with the U.S. title with his open challenges. He's going to give them a different platform than what they've had recently.
True. Yeah, I guess. All right. I guess. Hey, different opinions. I like it. Either way, I like the prediction. You're locking it in.
Be happy with either outcome, honestly.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that a lot of these matches I don't want to predict. And I said it to Dylan and I said to JR, and I even said it on the podcast yesterday for Pombo and Peter's picks. There are some matches I didn't want to predict, but it's like, because I want to go there and I want to enjoy it. Like,
right.
I want, like, obviously.
I totally get it.
Especially with 100,000 fans in attendance. Think about that. And
obviously, we're in audio form. The fans can't see it. You're already decked out in your.
Oh, I've been decked out. I've been decked out all day. I've been decked out. As we're recording this, I'm about to jump on a plane. In a couple hours. I'm going to be jumping on a plane. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm not a morning person. No. And Jason knows that, and Dylan knows that. Peter on Pombo Peter's picks definitely knows that. I'm terrible. So it's going to be a fun morning for me. And I don't drink coffee. It's going to be an amazing. Yeah. So
after Al.
But let's talk, like, speaking on like excitement, speaking about energy building matches, let's talk about Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. The energy in this match is just unmatchable.
Honestly, besides like the main matches that everyone's been kind of hyped for, I'm really hyped for this match. It's one of the few that I'm really like excited to see how they pull it off. Because regardless, of what your opinion is of Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, whatever your individual opinions are on them, they know how to work well. And Seth Rollins has proven that, in the past, that he knows how to work well with people that aren't necessarily the best with, working with other people. Brock Lesnar, for instance, he's not always the best with working with certain individuals in the past. And Seth knows how to work with new guys and younger guys. And he could be sort of that uncrowned gatekeeper when it comes to WrestleMania matches and elevating new people in the company. Like with last year with Cody Rhodes coming back, he sort of was the gatekeeper because Cody was coming from a different company and then coming back to this company after so many years. And then, you saw how it played out over the next few months before Cody, went down with the injury. And then, Logan Paul, the last year and a half, 2 years has been, regardless of what your opinion is, he's been one of the best celebrities to transition into this role of wrestler.
And that's the cool thing about it too, is that like a lot of people are saying like he has a gift in this. And there have been rumors going around that this might be his last match on his contract.
I don't know
what I've been told.
I don't know about that. I think he's gonna have, even if it is on this current contract, I think he's gonna sign with a few more years. I think there's a lot to build off of him with the whole social media thing. He could be a real good ambassador for WWE, regardless if he's going to be an in-ring performer or just.
Dude, I agree. I agree with that 100%. But it's the fact that it's like he also is trying to go into his boxing career. He's trying to go back into the boxing game a little bit. And I know I've listened to his podcast. Recently, he was on with Dave Portnoy, and he went off and said like he has a fight booked ready to go for later on this year. So as far as training camp goes, he's going to be, I'm assuming after this match, rest up. You'll probably. I don't want to say he's not going to take serious bumps in this match because it's Seth freaking Rollins. So there's going to be some high spots in this match.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, given the whole thing with Ricochet at the Royal Rumble, like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, there's going to be something happening, a big moment, because that's what WrestleMania is about. Is like if you're not the main event, if you're not a big title match, you're going to have a big moment in your match.
I agree. So locking in, what we locking? Come on, what we locking?
As much as I hate to go against Seth Rollins, I'm going to go with Logan Paul on this one.
You're gonna go Logan? Okay, I like it. For me, I'm going to go Seth. I'm going with Seth. The only reason I'm going with Seth is because I feel like he's due for a win at Mania.
Right.
I don't see him going back. He's gone back-to-back years with a loss. Actually, 3 years in a row with a loss, technically speaking. Kevin Owens.
Yeah, it's Kevin Owens. Yeah.
Kevin Owens. So that's what I'm saying, is that you're going to go 4 years.
But that could be his thing, though, right? Every Mania coming up, he could finally start talking about how he's been losing the last few years, and he even, and then this one could really break him. The Logan Paul one, if he does lose, could really break him, and then by next Mania, he could be in the main event, winning the title.
I could see that. I won't say no to that story. I agree. I like that, but even when he fought Kevin Owens, he's like you can't beat me on my worst day. Like WrestleMania is like his best and worst day.
And then Owens beat him.
And then Owens, that's what I'm saying, is that you already have that. I guess, right. Okay, if this story was to work out, you already have that Easter egg kind of laid out there.
Right, and he's lost the last 3 Manias. Either way, it kind of works. I feel like it's going to benefit Paul in the long run because he has an affiliation with not only WWE, but like with Prime and social media influence. Getting that big win before his boxing match later this year is going to help him out in the long run. Plus, he hasn't really had the best track record when it comes to being in WWE. Like with the few matches that he's had 2 wins, 1 win since being there. Did he win?
WWE 2. He's 2 and 1.
2 and 1. So I mean,
yeah,
still,
he did Mania. Trying to think, he did. He did Mania. No, he won at Mania with Miz. Then he won at SummerSlam. Then he lost to Roman Reigns. And that's it.
And then he lost in the Rumble. So technically that's
but no one counts a
Rumble. That's technically 2 and 2. So it's technically 2 and 2 if you want to count the technicalities. But either way, I think in the grander scheme of things, if you're gonna go from a business standpoint, Logan Paul's the way to go. If you're gonna go from a standpoint of okay, we want to build Seth Rollins over this next year and lead him back to the title, absolutely go with Seth Rollins.
No matter what, I feel this match either way, either way you look at it, this match would be
it could be
I mean, there's a couple other matches that could steal the show. And when we talk about steal the show, we can talk about banger after banger after banger. The triple threat Intercontinental Championship match. I'm making sure to hit this because apparently someone that was editing the podcast or making the graphic here said that we didn't cover this match.
No, you didn't. At least in one of the ones that I heard.
Which one? I know with JR I did. I made sure that after you sent that message. I'm like,
I think the one with Dylan, you guys forgot to touch on that one and the Showcase 4 ways. But you talked about
we didn't touch on the Showcase 4 ways for a reason.
You talked about the women's one. about why you weren't touching on it, but you never talked about the men's, because the
I'm
men's
not
at
talking
that
about
point,
either or.
the men's was confirmed by that point. But I think you guys there's a lot to go over, so it's okay. I forgive you.
Listen, there's 13 matches on this card. My graphics forgive you.
My graphics forgive you.
All right, Cargill Jr. over there. I see. Okay, Cargill. All right, Cargill Jr. over there. You're killing me. Okay, all right, let's talk about these bangers. What's that?
This might also be another show stealer, depending on which night it's on. If it's competing head to head with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, it might beat it out.
I think it's going to be, dude. There's a lot of stories that could play out in this match, and a lot of different ways this match could go.
Right, and I know my heart wants to go with Sheamus because this might be his last run, or like he's leaning towards that because of his condition. And I don't know if you guys know about his condition that he has with his spine and his back, so he only has a limited amount of time left. So I do understand that they may want to just shotgun it and give him that last elusive title reign, so that way he can kind of be on his way out. Or they could go in the story route and give it to Drew McIntyre and have the two feud over the title and have either Sheamus or Drew turn heel, lead up into either SummerSlam or next WrestleMania, if you want to extend it that far. And in some form or way, I don't think Gunther is walking out with the title, though. Either that's my firm opinion on that one. My prediction on this one isn't gonna be a whole like I'm finalizing this, but I still think that something may happen.
I think I have mine. I think I have mine set. Look, I'm going Sheamus. I'm taking it. Yeah, I kind of, dude. After having that match in Cardiff, having that match, it's just there's no way this guy goes another 20 minutes, half hour in the ring with Gunther and Drew.
You're getting something. They're going back to London at Money in the Bank, and that could also be where he gets his moment back in the UK. Make up for what he didn't get in Cardiff.
But what if you were to put Drew over in London?
It's possible.
That's how I'm kind of looking at it.
They both lost. So I think either way, we are going to get a Sheamus and Drew feud coming out of this, regardless of who wins.
That's how I'm kind of looking at it. It's that either way, whether it's Drew or Sheamus, I think that match does happen at Money in the Bank.
Right.
But who is going to be champion in that match? Like, from my opinion, I think it's going to be Sheamus walking out of Mania with the title. Now, am I firm on that? No. But do I want to see a full circle story come together for Sheamus? Yes. Right. That's why, like I said this I said this the other day with JR. I love, long-term bookings. And I feel like with Sheamus, this has been a long-term booking decision. And I feel like when it comes to the title picture for the IC title, I think it's at the top of the line. And I think it's at a point where it's like, okay, now it's a conversation of, okay, it's not just a mid-card title. This is a title that means something now.
Yeah, this is a stepping stone. Like, I think firmly Gunther will end up somehow in the main event picture after this title.
100%.
Especially given his performance in the Royal Rumble too, like with Cody at the end, that like 5-minute match that we got, like probably one of the best final twos I've ever seen besides Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. I think
said it.
Even a close second, maybe even a first, depending on who you talk to. But I think either way, we're going to be satisfied with a finish here because the story coming out of it is going to be even better than what we've got. I'm not going to go with a feel-good moment for a reason, because I don't think this Mania is going to have too many feel-good moments because of the overall bloodline storyline that's going on. I think if you're going to save those good feel-good moments, you're going to have a very few amount of them. Otherwise, it's going to be oversaturated. So that's why I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. But my heart does say Sheamus, but my pick is Drew McIntyre.
I like it. No, either way, like this Mania, I'll tell you, I think it's different. This hits different, this Mania.
Also, we're forgetting about Pete Dunne, aka Butch. Who in recent weeks has been showing that Pete Dunne side of him and has been sort of teasing that he's going to go back to the Bruiserweight gimmick, and he may cost Sheamus the title because Sheamus has kind of forgotten about him and Ridge over the last few months because he's been through. He's been going on that. He's been losing focus on his Fight Club.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think there's an added factor there. If you're not going to have Sheamus win, at least you can kind of screw him out of the title and have Drew have that big moment. Or they may throw a 1-2 there and give Gunther the win and keep one of the long reigns still going by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you talk about the long reigns, like Gunther is definitely one to talk about. And I think another one that we could definitely talk about that could be like coming to an end, possibly in the Raw Women's Championship.
That was my
talk about
yep.
that.
You read my mind, best friend.
It's why friends think alike here. Friends think alike. See,
that's what I'm saying. This is another thing to play off of with the whole feel good moments thing. I don't think going into this, everybody's sort of rooting for Bianca. I think they're all rooting for Asuka because of her new gimmick, and her coming back as sort of Kana from her Japan days, or her early start to NXT, her Empress of Tomorrow gimmick. I think going into this, a lot of people are going to be rooting for Asuka, who isn't the conventional babyface right now, but she hasn't turned fully heel yet, so she is still technically a tweener, or somewhere in that gray area where she's kind of both. She has a darker gimmick, but she's face. It's a weird dynamic, but I think Bianca is going to win, but people aren't going to be too happy about it because they're rooting for Asuka.
Well, that's the thing too, is that you just started the story.
Right.
It's like it's already at like a starting point. So it's like, okay, we don't have a decisive who's baby and who's heel. Reason is because like people are loving the character in Asuka, like you kind of brought up. So with Bianca, like everybody's gonna have that feel good moment, like that feel good story with her, because it's like people can relate to her, or some people can't like try to relate to her in a way. But with Asuka being different,
yeah, she's a people champion kind of. She is the one that people conventionally will root for, but I think in the end, going into the match, a lot of people are going to be like, okay, well, Asuka won the Rumble. Asuka won the Chamber, and then she's going to go on and lose her title match at Mania. Are we going to get 2 title changes for the women's division? Are we going to get 2 title changes for the men's division? That's the whole big thing too. Is I don't think we're going to see too many title changes on this card, so you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I was kind of like, when I was talking on Pommel Pierce picks, it was the under-over was like 3.5 on title changes. I kind of went with the over just to kind of say 4.
I think there will
4 is good. I think it's a good amount.
Yeah, I think 3 to 4 is because let's think about it. You've got the main title, which is 2 belts.
We're going to talk about,
I don't know.
No, that's one.
I don't think it's one. Okay, same with the tag titles. So you've got the main title, the tag titles, both mid-card, and both women's. Those are the only title matches on the show. So that's 7 titles, on the show. 4 is a good round number, I think, to go
talk
for.
about.
So I think if you were going for the over, I think you might have it. I think you might have it spot on that one.
I think I did. I thought I did. There was a couple other predictions on there, so check out Pommel Pierce picks on that. There was a couple other betting odds on there, especially with surprise appearances.
If I had to take away one of my title changes, it would have to be the U.S. title. Like I said, I'm not so confident on voting for Theory to lose, but it's just the one that I would go to because you're opening Mania with this match, and you're not going to open Mania with a heel win, are you? Like, I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe
you're gonna have to tune in. You're gonna have to tune in and find out.
Like I said before, it might go off of maybe I don't think we're going to get too many feel good moments.
No.
That may play into it. And back to the Asuka thing too, because it does help as far as her character goes with the feel good thing. I think she is going to turn heel like Shinsuke did at Mania 34. By her losing, it's going to help her unleash her true character and show that her character really doesn't need the title right away. Kind of like a Bray Wyatt, it'll dilute her a little bit if she gets it too quickly. Like, you need to build her to that point, which is why I am voting for Bianca.
Naturally build it.
Right.
Like you talk about, like you said, naturally build it. It's like make the fan, like get to a point, get to that high point of where it's like, okay, now we can do it.
Right.
Versus like, okay, just give it right away and then like keep climbing, which is what they do anyway, which is what they've been doing, like in some cases. But in others, let's say, I don't know, for the Usos. When you talk about getting to a level, look at Sami Zayn's like fandom in the last year.
It is so good. you cannot deny it. Even if you aren't a fan of wrestling, like, and you're still watching it and you're looking at, like, even if like you are the most Jim Cornette of Jim Cornettes of fans, like, and you watch this and you go, this is storytelling. This is how wrestling should be all the time.
Yes.
When you're trying to push your main events and you're trying to build stars, this is why I'm so hyped for this Mania, because it seems like no matter how little the builds might be, it seems like they've always been sort of putting the pieces together with every match, regardless of where it is, on the card, or regardless of how long their build has been. It feels like every match sort of has a good meaning to it, and it has a purpose for being on the show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, this year hits different is because these matches actually mean something story-wise. Okay, look, there's a few
from last year, yeah.
No, there's a few. Well, I'm saying this year. From this year, I'm looking like, look, I see maybe, I don't know, 3 matches, maybe 4. Like, I'll say 3 matches, maybe 4 that don't make sense. Maybe 4. I'm not gonna say which. I'm not like one of them. I've already said which one.
Matches.
We are, but like, no, look, but the story behind this match for the tag team championships. I'm gonna ask you this before I get asked. It's a main event. So you're saying this is gonna be night 1?
This should main event night 1.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to, but it should.
It should. I agree. You have that full year. Yeah. That full year that deserves that main event, doesn't it? Like, if anything, it should, if it does a main event and co-main event, like it's like a co-main event of that one.
If anything, you're doing a disservice to your women's division if you make Charlotte and Rhea the main event just because it's a women's title match, and just because, like, I understand the Rumble win and saying it's a main event match, but like WWE has really diluted the meaning of what a main event match really is too. Like, because you see all those big shows where they're like, oh, it's a double main event, oh, it's a triple main event, like it's a triple header, and it's like, okay, well, the main event is the last match on the show,
the one that people pay to see,
the one that people are going to come to see. And I guarantee you, if you ask 9 people out of 10, they're gonna say Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos is what they're there for. If that match is on night 1, which, because the only match we really know of is the Cena Theory match for night 1.
No, and we'll find out. So this episode releases Friday, and we're gonna find out later tonight on SmackDown to kind of put it put it
at the time of recording.
Yeah, right now we're recording before I leave. So if this episode airs, hopefully Friday. I'm not pointing in any direction, but.
Well, they wouldn't see it anyways because this is audio.
Oh, what are you talking? Well, I'm saying either way, Paul, I'm going to put the editor on notice here on video.
Blast here. Shit.
I'm putting him on blast here. Paul, I love you. I'm only kidding.
All right, I love you. But yeah,
at least I'm joking with you. I appreciate.
But yeah, back to who we're predicting.
Yeah, what do you got?
Besides the main event, I think the Roman versus Cody. This is the biggest match of the whole weekend. This is the
Bloodline weekend.
I think this is the one over Cody and Roman that everyone's coming to see.
I agree. It's the story, like with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, like their story, dude. Just seriously,
I remember at the beginning of the year, people were saying, "Oh, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens is going to be the match at WrestleMania," because they were like, "Oh, they're not going to do the tag match. It's so bad." And I'm like, "No, it's going to be the tag match. Like, whether you like it or not, you're going to love it by the end of it."
Yeah, no matter what, it's like, look, you have, like, fans have their perspective on, okay, oh, it's going to be Sami Zayn in the main event. Oh, it's going to be, like, Sami Zayn for the titles. Cody's going to challenge for one, Sami's going to challenge for the other. In the end, WWE knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
In this booking.
From the moment they initiated the storyline. I think it kind of started falling into place around Survivor Series when they were like, okay, I think this is the direction we're going to go in. I think that's when everybody kind of started going, oh, okay, like this is where they're going with it. They weren't sure at that point, like, okay, are they just going to make this a one-off where Sami kind of, turns at Survivor Series? But once he did the thing with Kevin Owens and let Jey Uso get the pin, that's where everybody was like, oh shit, this is what's happening. We know what's happening now.
Exactly.
So yeah, my prediction, and I'm not agreeing with Dylan Saraiva as much as I don't want to, because I think the whole thing with the bloodline is, if the Usos win, then it kind of it adds more weight to when Roman loses. But I'm not necessarily saying that's my prediction yet. But I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going over is the right call. but I still have that lingering thought that Kevin Owens may turn on Sami Zayn and leave night one on a heartbreak. So that way the main event of night two feels like a bigger moment. But I don't think that's going to happen. My heart is telling me that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will finally get along and finally win a tag team title. Like they'll finally complete the story. Like, because the whole thing has been about complete your story, finish your story.
That's been the whole weekend.
This is for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This is the end of their story. This is it. Maybe not for Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. Maybe that's going to go on a little further, and I think it will. I think it'll expand into later pay-per-views, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, etc. But I think for Cody, for Roman, for Sami Zayn, for Kevin Owens, for the Bloodline as a whole, this whole trilogy, basically, like, because it's kind of been a big trilogy from like Survivor Series, Rumble, now, I think that's where we're doing it. This is the finish of the story for Sami Zayn. This is his saga. And this is what we're going to look back on and be like, that's why Sami Zayn is now a main event player.
Exactly. I agree.
I
agree with everything, dude. You stole everything out of my freaking mouth.
This moment in time.
I like it. I like it, dude. I like this story. Like I said, this story is just, it's unmatchable.
God.
This Mania is whole, like,
if I don't see any other match on Mania, this is the one I want to see.
I agree.
This is it. Like, I would be so satisfied if I didn't have to see any other match. And if they went, okay, you're only allowed to see one match on Mania, this is the match I'm watching. Hands down. As much as I love the Hell in a Cell overall, as much as I love that Cena's coming back for a Mania match, as much as I love that Rhea Ripley might win the title, as much as I love the fact that Cody's in a main event finally, this is the match. Like, come on. This is the match we built WrestleMania around.
Exactly. And it's gonna be good, dude. Man, like look, there's a couple of them that it's exciting, dude. I'm lost for words. It's just how excited I am. Like, I've been looking.
I don't think I was this excited for year's Mania. Like, I was more excited for the Royal Rumble this year than I was for Mania last year.
Same. All right, so locking in. What are we locking?
It's got to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
All right, I like it. All right, let's kind of get this one out of the way. Like Brock versus Omos, you don't have to explain much.
No, I mean, the build's been all right. I mean, the funnest segment that they've done was the one that was on this week when Brock got decked by Omos and finally kind of showed that Omos was a bigger guy. But you know what it's building to. It's building to the Andre Hogan moment. It's building to Brock picking up Omos for the F5 and winning that. It's gonna be like a 5-minute match. We're not expecting big. Brock Lesnar's going over.
I agree.
Let's call it a day.
Brock's going on. That's how I'm looking at it.
Let's just move on.
Moving on here. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, Trish Stratus, Lita, Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. JR's opinion on this I liked is that it could lead to Trish Stratus turning heel.
Right. So the whole, for people who don't understand, who haven't really been following social media, and you talked about it with Dylan, they've been using a lot of social media to build a lot of these WrestleMania matches around. Trish lately has been posting some cryptic things on social media about Bayley and their time together a few Manias ago when Bayley and Sasha lost the tag titles.
Exactly.
And I think that's going to be sort of a moment where, because I totally agree that this is going to be the moment that either, the Damage Control wins. That's my vote, is Damage Control is winning. But I think this could be a moment where Trish turns heel and her and Bayley team up, take the titles off of Lita and Becky Lynch.
I think I could see that. I could definitely see. I didn't think of that.
I think.
But I was saying with JR, if you listen to JR's opinion on it was really good. When it came to how the story might play out, like I'm looking at it Raw after.
Right.
So that's how we're kind of playing it off. That's how it could happen.
Yeah, that's possible.
But again, look.
Mania has moments.
Mania has its moments, but Raw after always has its definite moments.
Right. It has some big moments too, because that's sort of like the start of the new year. That's the
exactly.
So if that's the direction you want to go in, then definitely I would save that for Raw after Mania, because there may be a lot of big moments for WrestleMania this year, and that one might kind of fall by the wayside if you're thinking about it from a grander scheme. But I think wholeheartedly this match, well, it'll be fun because it's always fun to see legends come back. It's always fun to have the multi-man match, tag matches, and this multi-woman match has a lot of great performers in it. You're talking about two Hall of Famers, two legends of the ring, two of the best to ever do it. And then you've got Becky and Bayley, who are the now, they are the present, they are the people who are carrying the company on their back for the women's division, besides Rhea, Charlotte, Bianca. Besides those people, like, you always forget about Bayley's been there the whole time. She was a beacon for NXT, and then that's why they saved her coming up, because they knew she was going to be important, and exactly. they didn't want to lose her for NXT. So now she's been more of like a standard bearer for this company on the main roster. Same with Becky Lynch too. Like Becky was carrying SmackDown on her back for the first couple of years when they did the brand split.
No shit, dude.
Right? Even regardless if she was champion or not, she was like the draw of that whole division. So I think Bayley hasn't had a lot of big wins since she's come back. And I think this will be the one that she finally gets the big win on, because she lost her both all hours. 3 of them. Did she have 3 women's titles matches against Bianca? She lost all of her women's title shots.
Yep.
And we all thought she was going to win that last women's standing match, and she didn't. Yeah. And I think since then she's kind of fell back. And I think that's sort of where people forget that you can't have too many babyface wins at WrestleMania.
No, and that's where I'm kind of I'm going with Damage Control on this one. But another match you can look at as far as heel and baby goes in these situations, these 2 matches actually, for the SmackDown women's, for Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, and then you have Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. 2 great matches.
Oh,
that I think
if you want to round Edge and Finn into that too, because I think this will be a Judgment
Talk about Judgment Day all around. Talk about Judgment Day all around. Okay,
all around.
I like it.
I think they're gonna. If anything, if you have one heel moment, it's gonna be Dominic beating his father.
Agreed. So I'm taking Dom over in that match.
But I don't think I can agree with the people saying that this is going to be a Rey's retirement match.
No, you got to build more,
because they're forgetting that Backlash is happening in Puerto Rico with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny has history with Damian Priest. I think Rey's going to continue his feud with Dominic, because Priest, who has no match at WrestleMania this year,
exactly,
which is sad because he's been doing a lot too this year, and they forget he's an equal part of Judgment Day, and I'm sad that he didn't get a match, but I think he'll have an involvement in this match, a bigger involvement, and this will be a moment where they start building Rey and Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest and Dominic at Backlash.
I like it.
And I think that's where Rey will get his win over Dom.
I agree with Bad Bunny as a partner. I like it. So I'm taking Dom. For the SmackDown, I'm taking Rhea.
Gotta be Rhea.
I think it's gotta be Rhea.
Even though Charlotte is the default babyface, Charlotte's not a babyface. Rhea's going over. Rhea's the crowd favorite. Everybody wants Rhea to win, even though she's supposed to be the heel of the match. That's where I go back into it. Asuka isn't the conventional babyface or heel in this contest, but so there's a lot of dynamic where the fans may lean one way towards Rhea and lean the other way towards Dominic. Regardless, they love this gimmick. They love this faction, and there's no way that the work that they've been putting in since WrestleMania 38 is not going to go unnoticed. There's no way it's going to go unnoticed there tonight. I mean, not tonight.
You're good. I get it.
It's been a long day.
You're good. You're good.
So Rhea's definitely going over. There's no way she's losing to Charlotte again. I just from their encounter at WrestleMania with 36. When it was no fans, 36, no fans, when she won the NXT title over Rhea. I can't. It's not going to happen. She lost the last one too at Money in the Bank.
Exactly. So look, when you talk about this whole, again, like you said before, it's about finishing your story. And what's one big thing? We're going to get into the main event in just a moment, but with the Hell in a Cell match, we're talking about finishing the story. It started last year at WrestleMania with Edge taking on AJ Styles. Now this year you have Edge versus Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. They're bringing back the old structure, which I'm freaking happy about.
They finally announced it. It's going to be no red cell. No red cell. Freaking, oh my God, thank God. It's been long overdue.
Exactly.
You can tell Vince is not in charge anymore, as far as fully in charge. Because he may still be there in the background doing some stuff here and there, but he is not fully in charge of these things anymore, because he brought back that Hell in a Cell, and Vince was so keen on that thing, and he was like, "I'm keeping this. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit the gimmick, whatever. It's staying." Because they had it for the one in Saudi Arabia. Didn't they have that one with
the red cell?
Yeah, with Seth and Edge, and I was like, "This makes no sense. This makes no sense to have this." I understand if it made sense with Bray and his whole red lighting thing. I get it.
Yeah,
whatever. As stupid as it was, I got it. But after that,
it's gonna be gold. It's gonna be a gold cell this year. I heard it's gonna be gold.
gold. Hey,
Anything's better. Hey, Hollywood goes. Hollywood's going gold. Gold's hell.
Anything is better than that red cell.
I agree.
Good fucking riddance.
All right, so who we taking here? Come on, I'm going Edge.
I'm going Finn because I don't think Edge is going to have 2 back-to-back pay-per-view wins.
No, you don't think so?
He beat Finn last pay-per-view. And I think Finn's going to get his.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yep. No, you're right.
I'm thinking he's finally going to get his win back over Edge, and he's going to start. I think this is where we're going to start with the whole Edge retirement thing. I don't think Edge is retiring here either.
No, well, I just if this is his last run, I would say like I'm looking at it as okay. Again, I'm looking at it as a heartfelt moment. It's like you get that
right.
Look, I'm looking at it that way.
Well, I ate my words when I voted for Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber because of the whole Rhea needs to have a win going into Mania. Exactly. But now I think that they're at this point. If you're gonna use Finn as the future of the company, you can't have him lose to Edge at Mania. I feel like that's gonna just cause too much of a down spiral, and it's not gonna complete the story the way that we want it to be completed. I think Edge is gonna get that special entrance. They've been talking about it, rumoring it, that he's going to get the Brood back together for a one-time entrance for the Bloodbath. And the thing is, it's the Triple H thing. If you come in with the special entrance, you're not going to get the victory, especially for a big moment like this, a big match too.
Okay, now we get to the main event here.
Oh boy.
Will we finish the story at WrestleMania?
I'm so torn with this match.
See, that's what I kept saying, is that I don't want to predict this match because it's so good of a story.
Right. It could go either way. Right. If anything, right, if you aren't going to go into this weekend and go, okay, I don't care who wins this match, this is the match where it's like, oh my gosh, this is some BS. We have to pick a winner for this match? God damn it. Either you're choosing to end Roman's reign of almost 1,000 days, which is huge. It's like something we're probably never going to see again for at least for quite some time if they're not planning to do that again, or choosing the prodigal son returning and giving him everything that he's been working for his entire career.
See, I'm looking at it because I've said this, is that I followed Cody's story all the way through his entire independent run. I followed it. I felt like looked at every single promotion he worked for, watched all of his matches on the independent scene. From when he first wrestled Kurt Angle inside of a steel cage.
Yep.
As one of his first few matches back on the even first matches on the independents.
Right.
My thing is that it's without question, I'm looking at it as Cody's going over. Because this guy went from being undesirable, and I hate to be cliche-ish about this, from undesirable to ungoddamn deniable.
Yeah, and now he's going to be going from undesirable to undeniable to undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. And the only reason I am voting for Cody, I'm agreeing with you.
I agree.
Because of the reports that they've been approving of new title designs, and they approved of a brand new WWE Championship design.
Yeah, it's supposed to appear this weekend, from what I'm told.
So they might be feuding they might reveal it before the main event. And if they do that, that's sort of the writing on the wall. Like if they don't, then maybe not. Maybe they'll give it to Roman after. But I think it's going to be the writing on the wall if they reveal it right before the main event.
It's going to be Triple H WrestleMania 18 all over again, where you had Chris Jericho come out the night before with the 2 titles. Triple H wins it. Next night, Ric Flair presents the brand new championship.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it.
What are we thinking for that belt, though? Is it going to be the Winged Eagle? Is it going to be the big
No. The
reason,
and I've read this, the reason that WWE obviously has the big W on the front is, think about it.
Oh, it's promotion.
You have all the NBA players. You think about it, you have NBA players, you have NFL players holding your product. If you put the little logo, the little W on the corner, it's like, oh, whose title is that? Oh, is that custom? No. You put the sucker right on the freaking front.
Right. But
for example, the CTW Championship. Where's the logo?
Maybe it'll be like sort of what do you call it? An amalgamation. Maybe it'll be sort of a mixture. Like they have the big W on the Winged Eagle. Like they make the the logo, sort of that big W that they did with was it John Cena?
The spinner?
The spinner belt, where they kind of put it in the center, but they make like a sort of a belt around it. Because you recognize the spinner belt, and you're like, oh my god, that's a WWE belt. Like, as stupid as it is, as stupid as the spinner gimmick is, you recognize it, and that was the belt I grew up with.
Exactly.
But yeah, this main event, besides the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Usos match, is probably the biggest match of the weekend.
I agree.
And if you were to say, hey, you can't choose Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Usos, I'd be choosing this one.
Bro, I just know that it's two great storytellers going into that ring and telling a phenomenal story.
Do we think Dwayne the Dwayneson's showing up and costing cousin Joe the championship?
I've seen rumors and I've seen other things on dirt sheets, and I said this on a couple different pods, is that it could happen. It could happen. Even though he's not competing, you could see a Rock appearance. I don't believe it. I'm not going to read into it and be like, oh my God, The Rock's coming. Dude, this WrestleMania was sold on the match alone of Rock Roman. That was the stuff of this entire Mania.
It's never happening. The match is probably never going to happen. Let's be honest.
I'm holding you to it now.
Listen.
But we're keeping the audio clip here.
I think it could. I think it could if they do it right. But let's be honest with ourselves. That thing has kind of come and gone. Like, they're not going to do it in Philadelphia. Like, the time to do it was Hollywood. That's The Rock's whole thing, is that he is Hollywood, right? Like, they're not going to go off of it and go, oh, okay, now we're ready for the Rock feud. It's like, what? You had it in your hands right there for you to go. You could have sold it a year ago on this main event. You could have sold it at the Survivor Series that was all about The Rock's anniversary that he didn't even show up for. You could have built it from that point. You could have announced it then, and you probably would have had bigger numbers at this point. But still, I think they've come and gone with their chance for The Rock, and I only asked the question because I've been seeing it all over social media, all over the dirt sheets, all over the articles and the reports, all over YouTube with these news sites.
Oh, what if like.
Yeah, all the fantasy bookings and the predictions and stuff. I think if you're going to have The Rock show up as a one-off, it's not going to be at Mania. It'll be at the Raw after Mania.
I can see it. But I like the way I'm kind of looking at Rock Roman, if what if you have it in Philly? The reason I'm looking at, it would have been great to have it in California, like you said, because it's California, it's Los Angeles, it's Hollywood,
Yeah.
But if you look back to that story between Rock and Roman, it dates back to Philadelphia. The Royal Rumble. No, I think about it. Just if you look long-term booking,
but I just don't want to agree.
but I know you don't want to agree.
Say your piece, though. Say your piece.
No. Look,
it's fine.
I'm just looking at. Look,
here.
I love wrestling for long-term stories and bookings. That's why I fall in love with these stories. If we're going to do it, have the freaking long-term story of, okay, look, this is how it started. Not the rivalry, but how, the acknowledgement.
Roman's thing happened. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's an acknowledgement.
Right. Well, if you want to go off of the word acknowledgement, I think I've said this before on this podcast, that Roman versus Jey Uso needs to happen first before Roman versus The Rock. And I think that's probably why they've been holding off with The Rock is, they have a lot more they have to get through first. And then they can kind of get to The Rock and be like, this is the final hurdle Roman has to hop over before this whole bloodline thing is done. But I feel like they've passed their moment. Rock is getting up there in age, and he's not going to stop doing movies. That's what I'm saying. Where his money is now. He's left. He's left for it. Cena to a lesser extent has too. But I feel like the moment's coming on. If they're going to do it, going to do it at Philly, then yes, they can build it off of that Royal Rumble in 2015, where Roman got booed out of the stadium, out of the arena or wherever it was. I think it was an arena.
Exactly. No arena.
Yeah, I guess you could go off of that. I'm as disappointed as I would be. They could sell the tickets 1 year on and announce it for Philly right on the Raw after Mania.
Exactly. Again, they could. That's just how I'm looking at it, just to say, okay, if I'm going to Mania next year, I want to kind of have okay, a what if?
Right.
That's a what if. And that was my thing for this year was a what if. Oh, it's going to be Rock Roman. That was the what if this year.
All right. That's what sold you on
it. No, God, no. I didn't care who was in the main event.
Bloodline story definitely would have sold me if I had more time to think about it. Like if I had a crunch time, like, and I had the flexibility to just be like, hey, on a whim, I'm going to Mania because of this storyline.
Hey, you can join me next year.
I'd be right there next to you, buddy. But
you're gonna join me next year.
I can't put. I know I said it in the last podcast.
But, yep, you did. I'm holding you to it.
You I got the whole list here. You want? I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm gonna do my damnedest to be there.
I'm putting people on blast right now. I got a whole list of people.
You let me know when those tickets go on sale, or just buy me a fucking ticket and I'll pay you back for it.
Yeah, you better pay me back for it,
regardless if I go or not.
All right, I'm gonna say this on air. Screw it, because it's just hilarious. Guess who hit me up today to ask me? Like, said, "Oh, you should." What's that?
Who?
I thought you said somebody. Yeah. No, they said, "Hell, you should have invited me to Mania." Oh, it's like I would have gone with you. And it's one of our old friends.
Oh God, who is it?
Hugo.
Hugo.
I'm not putting him on blast. I just thought it was hysterical. So he's one of the few names now on this list. This list is getting longer by the day, every day. I wish I went to Mania with you. Oh, I would go with you.
What'd you say with Dylan? We're getting a bus? We're getting a party bus?
I did. I said we're gonna get a bus. We're gonna go. Dylan's like, yeah, I don't know.
This one would be less cross country. Probably the flight would probably be a little bit cheaper.
We're driving. What are you talking about? I ain't flying. I'm flying back.
But I'll fly to Boston. Down. We could drive. Yeah, exactly. I'll fly to Boston. I'll carpool with you. You forget I'm in the ATL, baby.
In a whole van.
All the way down to GA. I'm waiting for me to come back to Orlando.
Not for a little bit.
Or Tampa.
It could be New England. New England could host a Mania here,
dude. Gillette Stadium ain't gonna hold that many people.
Okay, have you not seen? I'm gonna
I worked there. I worked at Gillette.
So did I.
I know what it's like.
Okay, did you see my article down on the Daily Goat? Did you see my article on the Daily Goat?
You send me all your articles and I read them all because I'm your best friend.
I don't believe if you read my article, you would know that's 2,000 seats. He's
gonna go, all right. Section all right. What did I say in this article?
No. I mean, seriously, no, 2,000 seats. So I compared Lincoln Field, where it's held next year, to Raymond James and Gillette Stadium.
Yeah. Well, with they host concerts.
Only 2,000 seats. The only difference is 2,000 seats.
I think the selling point though, it's more of a concert venue. It's not a big event venue. Like because obviously football happens there. Obviously soccer happens there. Soccer doesn't have as many fans as the Patriots would have if they show up on a home game during the actual season. Like, hey, I've been there during preseason games too. It does sell out. It does get really crowded in there. But that part, that drive, and I used to live right down the street from it. Literally, like you could take one exit and I'd be right in my house. That shit would be backed up. I don't think Mania would survive being at Gillette Stadium as much as I'd love to see it happen. I think it's more like a SummerSlam or a lesser pay-per-view. I don't think
I'll settle for a SummerSlam. I'll settle for a SummerSlam. I will settle for that.
I don't think Mania could host at Gillette.
If you read the article, and I'll put the link in. No, Paul, I need help with the description. We're gonna put the link in the description for this article.
Send it to me.
Oh, so you didn't read it? Aha! I knew it.
Maybe
I knew it. But I'm gonna head on out to California. Right now as this episode's out, I'm already in California. I'm already on day 2 of my California trip. But hopefully I'm having a great time.
I'm already getting text messages up the ass of TJ going, "Can you edit it like this? Can you edit my vlog like that?" Sorry, I'm paid.
Listen, hey. I'm a perfectionist. Well, I'm also doing my stuff too. I'm also recording my stuff for ABC6.
Okay, yeah. Of course,
so I'm multitasking. I got a busy 7-8 days.
Could have invited me. I would have been right there with you.
Listen.
I'm kidding.
But for now, we're gonna bid you all adieu. I'm gonna go enjoy California. Paul, you're gonna go enjoy Atlanta, watching it from home. So you guys can keep it cheap. I will catch you guys next time. And who knows? We might be. JR wants to do a Raw after surprise episode. He wants to try to record something like that. Hopefully, maybe I can record. Maybe you can record. We'll figure this out. We'll talk off air. What's that?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out the
maybe,
scheduling.
Maybe the Tuesday after. Maybe
the two. Yeah, get all the surprise.
And not from alcohol, just from wrestling. You know, where hungover from the weekend.
For WrestleHolics, yeah, we're
WrestleHolics. That's what we are.
For the All Paul Holloway, I'm TJ Albin, your provider, your ring announcer, your analyst, your digital media reporter. Like always, keep it cheap, and we will catch you guys next time. Later.